Hi beautiful souls, welcome to my channel Elle's Temple. My name is Elle, I'm a goddess guide and intuitive tarot reader, and today I am so excited to be bringing you a reading all about who are you evolving into. So without further ado, we have three beautiful piles for you to choose from today. If you are drawn to this orange and green banded onyx, I think it's pronounced like that, and this card number 35, on your own terms, and it says she waited a really long time to be saved until one day she decided to save herself. It was a very good day. So if you're drawn to either that card or this crystal, you will be pile number 1. Timestamps will be below as always. If you are drawn to this amethyst, whoopsie, stay there. If you're drawn to this amethyst crystal or card number 21, Starborn, you will be pile number 2. Okay. And if you are drawn to this zebra jasper crystal or the card number 13, Good Witch, you will be pile number 3. And it says create your own magic on there. Okay, my love, so pause the video if you need a little bit more time to choose which pile is drawing you in. If you are drawn to more than one pile, trust your intuition. It may be that there are messages from across the piles that you need to draw on that will be relevant to your situation. So just take whatever resonates and leave the rest as always. Okay, my loves, I will see you in your piles. Hi there, pile number 1. If you chose the On Your Own Terms card or this cute little stripy onyx crystal, this will be your reading. Okay, so let's take a look at all your cards. Hopefully they will all fit in. Okay, so first up we've got the Venom, one of the archetype cards. This is an energy that you are evolving out of, or away from rather. I'll get into it in more detail, so don't get too frightened by that card. I'll explain it. We've got Grey, Endings Are Inevitable, card number 37. Okay, we've got you guys got two Feminist Oracle cards, and they're both sporting people. We got Serena Williams, and we also got Fu Yuanhui. So two sporting people. One is a tennis player, one's a swimmer, Olympic gold medalist swimming. And then we've got card number 34 with Voyage. You already have all the answers. Okay, and we got the Prayer as the archetype that you're evolving into. Hopefully that will fit. Just move these over a wee bit. Okay, and this is these cards are for what kind of healing or what you need to know to evolve, to go through this evolution. And we got card number 42, The Word Wants to Be Written. We got Bravery, number 9, card number 9, card number 5, Explore Your Inner Wild Places, and Soft Breeze, Allowing Flow and Ease. Beautiful, love that. Okay, so pile number 1. Whew, so straight off the bat, the energy that I get with this Serena Williams and Fu Yuanhui, having two sporting figures here, I'm getting a vibe that for some of you growing up, you were in a very, like in an environment where there were a lot of expectations that were placed on you, where you didn't really get to do things on your own terms. You were very much perhaps either controlled by people, either within your family unit or at school, or there was just a lot of expectation. There were a lot of like things you had to achieve. I'm kind of getting a vibe of someone who was maybe in a bit of a narcissistic type environment, or if not that, then some sort of a meritocratic environment whereby love wasn't given to you unconditionally. It was something that you had to earn through some sort of like achievement, whether it was in sports with, it's quite interesting that I got two sporting figures, because this is from this Feminist Oracle deck, and there's a lot of figures on here. Most of them are kind of writers and political figures and things like that, and we got two sporting figures for you. So I'm getting a strong vibe of like, you know, especially with Serena Williams, she started playing tennis at the age of 4, so there could have been some sort of a like huge expectations placed on you to compete at something or achieve something or succeed at something or participate in something from a very young age. And the way I kind of get the vibe that like the way love was given in your family or support was given was based on how you did at these sort of hobbies, whether it was some sort of sport, whether it could have been dancing, it could have been like gymnastics. I'm kind of getting like very competitive type high level sports. So maybe some of you actually, whatever activity it was that you were doing, you went through to quite a high level at whatever that was. Now, I'm not necessarily saying for some of you, this could just have been a part of your childhood that actually you enjoyed, and it was very much something that you were very talented at, in the same way that Serena Williams, you know, she just started playing at 4, she was very talented, you know, and then she became like an ambassador for the sport, and she kept, you know, even though she had lots of injuries, she just kept coming back and kept playing. So for some of you, this might not have been a very toxic thing. For some of you, this may have been just something that was a part of like your formative years, where you were just somehow quite swept up in this kind of a hobby or something like that, that somewhat maybe took over, and you didn't really get to try out different things or explore different things or do things on your own terms. That's just for those of you that don't resonate with the aspect of having any kind of toxic upbringing. I'm going to come to this Venom card now. So this is an energy you're moving away from, and with this gray and endings are inevitable, it's like there's this energy, this sort of dark vortex that's like kind of been perhaps keeping some of you stuck, or keeping you some of you stuck in trying to live up to someone's expectations, is what I was trying to say there. So there's like a venomous energy, or a toxic energy, if you like, an energy of expectation that has been placed on you by someone else in your life. And I feel like you'll know, if this aspect resonates, you will know exactly who this is. So don't force this to fit, because it may be that this part of it isn't relevant to all of you. But those of you who have had this type of upbringing will know immediately. If you've had some kind of narcissistic abuse, if you've, you know, been sort of like used in a way, like where your childhood or like everything that you had to do was in order to for this other person, this narcissistic individual in your life, to extract status or to extract something out of you. Like you had to do things in a certain way, whether it was like some kind of performing, some kind of sport, some kind of doing something. It could have been going down a career path or a job that lived up to someone else's expectations, or you know, they could tell all their friends and like they could sort of get something out of that somehow. It's like they could feed off that with those teeth there. It's like I'm getting this feeding energy. And now I don't necessarily think for all of you this was done in a very malicious way. I think this was maybe just the way that person was raised, or you know, this is very unconscious behavior, very like that person is stuck in their own darkness. They are very disempowered themselves. They didn't think they could get any love or admiration or validation or value from being who they really were. So in turn, they put all these expectations on you. And perhaps also in their childhood, I'm kind of hearing like nothing was expected of them, or they didn't get to live out any of their dreams. So maybe for some of you, you had parents where they wanted to be like, you know, a sporting star, or they wanted to be able to be, you know, like they wanted to be able to do gymnastics, or they wanted the opportunity to do ballet, or they wanted the opportunity to, you know, do something really successfully academically or something like that. And they never got the chance to go to a really good school. And so you ended up in an environment that just put loads of pressure on you, a lot of like academic pressure, a lot of pressure to succeed, a lot of pressure to achieve, a lot of pressure to like do things a certain way, or to live up to other people's expectations. And I feel like even though most of you, well, it's very likely most of you will have left home, I feel like you still internalized a lot of that, like needing to live up to someone else's expectations, or needing to do things that other people have told you to do, or not feeling valuable in and of yourself, or like not really be in a strong enough position to offer yourself unconditional love, because you've never had that. You've never had that modeled to you. You've never had that given to you. It's always been something where you've had to do something to achieve to get love. Like love, again, it's that meritocracy kind of environment where it was only given on, you know, if you came home with a straight A, or it was only given if you won medals in whatever your sport was, or something like that. And I'm so sorry, pile number one, you've been through this. It's a very painful experience, and it's something that, you know, can stay with you. Like I said, even if you've long left home and you might be out in the world doing something else that's not even related to this anymore, but you could still have internalized some of those expectations, or that feeling of like needing to live up to someone else's expectations, or do something that someone else would expect of you, or not feel free enough to live life on your own terms, which is why you've picked this card. And I feel like maybe you've been waiting for some kind of, like with this energy of, it says like she waited a really long time to be saved until one day she decided herself. It's like you're ending all of this. You're ending all of that situation, and you're going to save yourself now. Like you are saving like the true you that is underneath that you that got very conditioned to, you know, do all these things. I want to say with this, it's interesting you've chosen this crystal, because this crystal is all about renewing self-love. And it's very good for anyone who's struggling with like having difficult people around them, having controlling people around them, people who, it's good if you are lacking in any kind of self-confidence. It's linked with both the heart chakra with the color green, which is about offering yourself unconditional love, which again is something that is very important as part of this evolutionary process, is like, you know, healing all that kind of like toxic patterning that you received in childhood, and like reparenting yourself and re-showing yourself the love that you didn't get. And also with the orange, this is linked with the sacral chakra, which is all about tapping into your creativity, finding your like zest for life, finding your own passions, feeling inspired, doing creative things that you like to do, all of that kind of thing. And like loving yourself enough to actually explore those creative things, like loving yourself enough to, and having the confidence, you know, to try out different things. So this is a very good crystal for this energy actually. And it's also one that helps with supporting anyone who is seeking to heal like old wounds or psychological wounds or anything, which I feel like many of you will have walked away from if you've had this kind of toxic environment in your childhood. You know, again, whether it was from parents or it could have been a coach. You know, I'm hearing like swimming coach. Maybe some of you were actually in competitive swimming or something, or like a gymnastics coach, or yeah, I kind of get the vibe that a lot of you were very, very much pushed like beyond your, it's like beyond what you wanted to do. It's like you didn't really get a say in kind of what you wanted to do. So you were kind of trapped in this situation, probably because you were a child, or, you know, or even this, the other thing I'm getting through, this could be like a workplace situation that's very toxic, that is very demanding, very extracting, or even a relationship that has been very demanding or extracting, and something that's kind of kept you very trapped. But I feel like you're ending that now with this gray, and endings are inevitable. And we've got this ship coming, and this person's kind of reaching out, looking out into the distance, and it's like there is a ship coming. And with this card, you're moving towards this energy of voyage, where this figure is on a ship. It's like you are sailing away from all of that. Your ship is coming in. You've prayed for that with this, the prayer here. You've been asking to get out of that situation or out of that energy, or, you know, even if you're long out of it, just any wounds that you've had, like psychological wounds from that time. And you're learning to have the courage and the bravery to go on your own journey and explore and do, and go in the direction that you want to go in, and listen to your inner compass instead of being controlled by someone else, or doing things that other people would expect of you, or doing things that, you know, look really good in terms of status, or would give this person, this kind of narcissistic person, a sort of charge or like a feed from whatever it is that you're doing. It's like you're like, nope, no more. I'm going in my direction, and I'm listening to my heart now. I'm going on this journey of self-exploration, self-discovery. We've got here with bravery, explore your inner wild places. So yeah, there's like this wild energy that wants to kind of like burst out of you and wants to like go in the direction that you most want to go in. And I feel like it's unique with that unicorn here. It's like this is your own unique direction. This isn't a set path that this other person or group or whatever has like differentiated for you, or said like this is the, you know, straight and narrow, like pile one, like you should do this if you want to you know, if you want anyone to love you, or if you want to get the kind of money that you should get, or if you want to, you know, like pay it back to us for all the education we put you through or something like that. Now, I'm not saying like, I just want to be clear in case like for some of you, you're in some kind of situation where like genuinely you do need to like pay someone back for something. I'm not necessarily promoting here like, oh, just kind of walk away from all responsibilities. Like, you know, I'm more just saying like you're evolving into a state of self now where you're not letting others dictate to you. So, you know, whilst taking responsibility for your life, you're not seeking that validation or that like permission. Is kind of what I'm getting from like those people or that parent or, you know, that boss or that partner. It's like you're like free. You're going in your own direction. You're taking the plunge. You're finding the bravery to go on your own journey, to go on your own voyage and figure out where you want to go. For some of you, this could well be like moving overseas. Maybe you've always wanted to move overseas. Maybe you've always wanted to live in another country and you're kind of like studying the map and being like, where could I go? Like actually, you know, maybe when you were in your sort of like formative years or in your 20s or something, you always wanted to travel, but you never could because of these like responsibilities or commitments or this particular like hobby or sport or whatever it was you were doing, or because of this family member, you were kind of like always sucked back into needing to like support them in some way or like do something for them in some way. And now you're like, no, I'm going in my own direction. I'm like moving overseas, or I'm going off traveling for a while. So for some of you, this could be literal. For others of you, this could be more of an internal journey, like just more internally figuring out like where your internal compass is guiding you and like where you're feeling pulled towards. I feel like with this prayer energy, I feel like this is kind of like you're coming up out of, it's like, what's the word? Like a phoenix rising out of the ashes of some kind of terrible ending or some kind of like painful ending, or walking away from some kind of situation that was really toxic. Again, whether that's a family member, a job, a partner, whatever it might be, you're just like, okay, I'm coming up. I'm coming out of the earth. I'm coming out of being buried underground. I feel like I kind of get the vibe that some of you, like some of your friends, when they see you again, it's like, I'm getting Rebecca from Ted Lasso when she, like, I think, is it Frankie, her friend? And like when she's with Horrible Richard, you know, I think it's Richard, the horrible guy, that her ex-husband, and she's with him for like all those years. And then, when she's married, and like she during that time, it's so toxic and she doesn't see any of her friends or anything. And like her life kind of shuts down. And then after they divorce, she kind of comes back to life again. And that's the kind of vibe I'm getting. It's like you're coming back to life again, and like you're gonna like be reconnected with friends and things, and they're gonna be like, who are you? Like you're just this completely different person. Like you're not under that person's thumb anymore. You're not living under their control anymore. So certainly for some of you, this could be walking away from a marriage or something that was very toxic. For others of you, this is just like, a family situation, or even sort of energy that you've internalized, or like conditioning, or like it's kind of like wounding to your self-worth is kind of what I'm getting, because it's like your worthiness was always based on kind of doing this activity or how much you achieved or something like that. And I feel like you're kind of reclaiming yourself, and you're having the bravery to walk away from that situation, or those people, or that conditioning, those beliefs, and like go in the direction that you want. With this word wants to be written here, I'm getting a couple of things. First of all, with all these beautiful butterflies, this is a very potent transformation you're going through. Like it's going to give you so much freedom. You know, it's going from being like the little caterpillar that crawls along the ground and it's like kind of stuck in one situation, to like you're in this sort of chrysalis phase at the moment, and then you're going to rebirth as this beautiful butterfly that has the freedom to go in whichever direction that you want. Like we've got with the voyage here, you can listen to your own intuition and go with the answers that are coming from within your intuition. Like I'm seeing here with this light around her third eye, it's like you're going to get this intuitive, or you're going to have this sort of intuitive awakening where like previously you've kind of had to be, or previously you've been in this cycle where you've been controlled by someone else or directed by someone else or under the thumb of someone else, and now it's like you're awakening to your own intuition, your own guidance system. You're activating your own internal guidance system and evolving into this beautiful butterfly that like can just go anywhere you like and be interested in all these different things and try all these different things. There's this beautiful kind of orangey energy. So again, I think I mentioned when I was talking about this crystal with the orange color, this is linked with the sacral chakra. So trying all these different creative things, you know, like butterflies will like flip from flower to flower, and like, you know, they're kind of interested in these different things. So for some of you, this could be trying out different passions, different hobbies that maybe you didn't get the chance to do as a child because you couldn't really like live your life on your own terms then because you were a child. And in order to keep safe, you had to kind of like live up to that person's expectations of you. Whereas now it's like you are free to actually try whatever you want to try, or, you know, express whatever you want to express. There's also a lot of blue, which is linked with the throat chakra, which is about self-expression. And we've got the word wants to be written. So maybe for some of you, you want to write. It might be writing a book, starting a blog, you know, putting your writing out there in some way, you know, maybe on social media or on some kind of platform or something where you might get like, you know, maybe eventually you could get monetized for that or something, or maybe you're writing a novel or a memoir or something, but there's something around like something that wants to be written. So for some of you, this could be like literally expressing yourself through some kind of writing. For others of you, this could be just doing journaling, especially in order to get this like to heal this pain and this trauma from that time. Maybe like just a lot of stream of consciousness journaling, connecting with your inner child, letting all of that out. Because I am seeing here with her like mascara running down her face, it's like she's purging something as well. So there could be something that could be very healing, that could sort of a transformation that could happen more easily through writing or journaling. And healing that will happen as a result of doing that writing. For others of you, if that's not something that resonates at all, you're not drawn towards writing or you don't want to write in any way, I feel like this is more just talking about like it's almost like the destiny that is supposed to unfold in your life, it like wants to start crystallizing into being. Like it's like I'm just getting distracted. I'm being drawn by all the like kind of dots around here, like all these sort of circles, and then we've got these same circles around her head here. So there's kind of like, it's like little nudges of information, or like little kind of it's like little breadcrumbs is what I'm getting. Sorry, I don't know why that took so long to come out. It's like little breadcrumbs that kind of that your spirit guides are sending you, little nudges, little tiny things, little bits of inspiration or ideas of like where you're meant to be going, or what direction to go in, or what to try, how to live life on your own terms. It's like you're going to receive the answers. You're going to intuitively know like what wants to come out in your life, what wants to evolve, like what direction to go in. So it's like the word wants to be written is just sort of more metaphoric in the sense that like whatever destiny wants to unfold, whatever ideas want to be expressed or tried, or whatever creative things you want to try, it's like that wants to be written. It wants to come out in your life in some way. And this is the card that I asked, what healing do you need to do to evolve, to step into this evolution? And we got soft breeze with allowing, flow, and ease. So yeah, allowing yourself to go with the flow a lot more. So I feel like, especially for those of you that had quite a controlling upbringing or a very like rigid upbringing in some way, it's like learning to trust your intuition, go with the flow, listen to like your inner compass, knowing that it has the answers that you need, not like kind of going in the direction that that person kind of might have tried to push you in, or whatever it might be. And like praying to your guides for answers, or praying to the universe or whatever it is that you believe in to send you the answers and the little breadcrumbs. I feel like the signs and the synchronicities have been trying to come through, and the more that you listen to them and the more that you trust them and have the bravery and the courage to kind of like go in that direction, I'm just noticing here it says to make a splash, you have to take the plunge. There's something around taking the plunge. So maybe, especially for those of you that have been wanting to go overseas or like try something really new, it's like, do it, take the plunge, go with the flow. If you're getting all these signs and synchronicities and breadcrumbs about trying something or doing something, like maybe you keep seeing signs everywhere to go to like Brazil, I'm hearing. That could be one person might be going there. Or like wherever it is in the world, if you just keep getting these little signs keep popping up everywhere, it's like there's a reason for that. This wants to be written, it wants to happen. You know, it's like a screenplay for your life. You know, it's like what do you if you're living life on your own terms, how do you want to direct your movie? Like, how do you want to, what's the next scene that you want to see? Like, you don't have to ask someone else. Like, you get to write the script of your own life. Like, it's not someone else's movie to write for you. It's like, it's not their, it's like, it's not down to them. They're not living your life, you are. So it's down to you to kind of like write the script for, you know, where you want to go or what you want to do. So let's finish up with the guidance from the Alana Fairchild book, because she's amazing. Those of you who have been on my channel will know I absolutely love her books, and the guidance is always just so spot on. So I feel like it will wrap up everything quite well. So let's have a look. So we've got, I'm just going to read it all out, I think. You are not the person you once were. You know it, but others might not always be ready to let the old you go so easily. Do not allow yourself to be shoved back into patterns of behavior that are not true to who you are now. You have worked hard to grow and become this new self. Believe that she is more real than the old you, even if she is less familiar to others and maybe even to you at this stage. All that will change, and what is new now will become familiar and easy for you to sustain in the near future. Be stubborn in a good way, whilst you and others around you come to realize that the new you is the real you. Oh, I love that. So the guidance is, others may offer their input, but when it comes down to it, it is you alone making your life decisions. Your choice may once have been to meet the expectations and honor the opinions of other people. Yes, that's what I was talking about with that, like Venom and the sports kind of thing, definitely. But you're aware now that the best choices for you actually honor your own heart, irrespective of whether others understand your reasons or feelings. You might have to practice not feeling guilty or selfish about choosing to live your life in the way that suits your soul. You might have to be patient with those around you who need some time to get out of the habit of expecting you to do as you are told. It may take some time for them to adjust to the way you are now, behaving and thinking based on your own inner guidance. Yeah, that's what I said with that Voyage card. You're listening to your own internal compass now. Stand your ground and reinforce this new behavior until you and those around you really get that this is how you are living from now on. You now know that you don't have to wait for permission. You get to choose how you want to feel, how you want to live, and who you want to be. You're ready for the responsibility and sweet reward of living your life on your own terms. And there's a sacred ritual here, which I'll hold up to the camera in case you want to do that, which is trusting in your own empowerment can take some practice and self-encouragement. Write a list of 5 things that you do already that are powerful. It might be refusing to have your thoughts controlled by another, or exercising your body, walking away from something that's not right, or choosing to give yourself time out when you need it. As you write your list, remind yourself that you have already begun your journey of empowerment. You can continue to be bolder in how you choose to express your empowerment when it feels right for you. I love that journey for you, pile number 1. That was an amazing reading. That's so empowering. I love this. I love this. I love this so much. I really hope that resonated for you, pile number 1. Leave a comment below if it did. I would so love to hear from you. I always reply when I can. So drop me a comment if it resonated. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the reading. It helps tell me which content is resonating for you guys at the moment. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to my channel. I would love to have you part of the community, and the notification bell so you'll be notified when I next upload a reading. Thank you so much for letting me read for you today. All the best with your evolution, and I will see you in the next reading. All my love. Bye. Hi there, pile 2. If you chose the Starborn card and this amethyst crystal, this will be your reading on who are you evolving into. So let's take a look at the oracle cards that I've pre-pulled for you. So first up, the energies that you're evolving out of are the Ring and Sheryl Sandberg with move carefully and build things. Aggression causes chaos. Leaning in invites balance. Resilience is like a muscle. You must work to keep it in shape. And Sheryl Sandberg was the COO of Facebook. I actually don't know if she's still there or not. I haven't looked her up for a while. So anyway, card number 7, we've got Sword with Make the Change. We have got card number 29 with Feast, Slow Down and Celebrate Yourself. We've got Emma Watson with No One Wants to Sit at the Table Alone. Emancipation is not dependent on whether you shave your armpits, and your best partner in life is you. And the archetype card that we got for what you're evolving into is Kairos. Beautiful. Okay, and then I got some additional cards for what you need to know to move through this evolution, and we got Strength, Know Your Strength. We got Free from Judgment, Free to Love, and the healing that you need to do to evolve into this new you is True Voice, Communicating with Your Truth, card number 37. So I love that. Right underneath them, what's in there? Okay, so pile number 2, straight off the bat, the kind of energy that I get from you, given you are moving away from the ring and this Sheryl Sandberg kind of archetype, and we've got Sword with Make the Change, so I definitely feel like you're in the process of making some kind of change at the moment. I feel like some sort of career path. I feel like the change that you're making, or the evolution that you're making, is to do with the type of work that you're doing mostly, or a shift from looking at your own life achievements kind of in a different way, like from the ring to Kairos. It's like going from, this card talks about like shifting out of linear time and like focusing on kind of life as like a series of progressive achievements. And then we've got Sheryl Sandberg, who wrote that book Lean In, and it was all about, you know, she's sort of in that like corporate life, and it was about like, you know, women kind of getting to, you know, be part of a boardroom and all that kind of thing. So I feel like maybe some of you have come from some sort of a career background that was perhaps very corporate, and something where you like, you know, you were doing that linear thing of trying to climb a corporate ladder, or trying to work really hard to achieve a lot. And I feel like maybe for some of you, you actually did get to a certain level of success, but I feel like it didn't give you the sort of inner fulfillment that you thought it might. And that's why you're kind of facing this truth now of like possibly needing to make a change, or maybe some of you have already made the change, or you're about to make a change, but you're moving towards this energy of Kairos, which is all about like slowing down, seeing life as more cyclical, being in kind of more mythic time, trusting in like divine timing, trusting in like where you're intuitively being guided, and knowing that there are like certain cycles to things rather than like everything being sort of on a linear thing. I'm also getting with the ring here as well that maybe this was a path that you were previously very, very committed to, but I'm getting that maybe with this number 29 here, around the age of 29, which is often when, well, it's usually when you have a Saturn return, or in sometime in your early 30s, you'll have a Saturn return. And quite often that will cause you to awaken to a life path that is more in alignment with you, because Saturn being the planet of discipline and the planet of like time and time constraints, which is kind of ironic I'm talking about that, given Kairos is all to do with like mythic time and kind of like timelessness and divine timing and everything. But I feel like there's an element of Saturn coming in and being like, okay, this thing that you have been doing, this path you've been pursuing, or this corporate thing, or this like trying to rise up through the ladder or climb the corporate ladder, whatever it is, it's not your true path, or it's not the thing that is most aligned with who you really are. It's not going to fulfill you in the way that you've originally kind of saw. And it's like there's something around commitment and like maybe shifting away from something that you were previously committed to, or previously thought that you would be committed to for most of your life, towards actually reorienting your commitment to yourself with this like feast card here and slow down and celebrate yourself. I feel like you're shifting, or you're in the process of making these shifts, or you're going through this evolution at the moment of feeling called towards shifting your life towards something that is more authentically you and more aligned with your truth. And I feel like with this Emma Watson here, it's got no one wants to sit at the table alone. And I feel like there's something around what you were doing that actually left you feeling quite alone in some way. Maybe you were, for example, the only woman in, a boardroom or something. I'm seeing, I'm being shown Rebecca from Ted Lasso. It's weird. I've used that example. I've used her twice in this reading. I don't know why. I haven't really talked about Ted Lasso before in a reading, but she's coming up. So maybe some of you guys have been watching it. Great show, by the way. But anyway, she, in that show, she goes to this board meeting towards the end where it's like all men. And actually, funnily enough, she does this process of standing in front of the mirror to try and like appear really strong and like she's got control of the room. So maybe I'm kind of seeing some of you having to do that, like in order to like really succeed out in the world. You were maybe often around like, rooms full of men, and maybe there was a lot of like needing to kind of, kind of navigate all of that, or sort of, feel confident enough to be part of that, or be like accepted as one of them or something, or be taken seriously in some way. It's that whole like you were trying for a long time to do the lean in thing, like you were trying to lean in and stay within a company and be a female, like be represented as a woman on like at around the board table or whatever it might be. If not that, then it's just this sense of like you were committed to some sort of path, whether it was a corporate path or some sort of a path that perhaps was more linear in nature and was more about achieving things in some sort of way that possibly left you feeling either a little bit empty or just unfulfilled, or it just something happened around your Saturn return that caused you to question that and caused you to perhaps want to change direction or make some sort of a shift in your life, or go towards something else, go towards something that is more truly you. I feel like with Emma Watson here and true voice, communicating with your truth, and we've got a lot of blue here as well with the Kairos, which is linked with the throat chakra, which is all about self-expression and expressing the true you and being authentic to yourself. I feel like you're shifting towards something that might be to do with either speaking or writing or expressing yourself in some way. This could be different for all of you. It could be that, maybe as part of your corporate role, you used to have to do a lot of presentations. And so you really, you got really good at doing presentations. You got really good at talking to lots of different people. Like I said, maybe you had to go into boardrooms and get people to like, negotiate with lots of people in there. And you often had to like, be really strong and, like really stand in your power and, kind of be really assertive, and you learn all these really good skills that now you're going to take and maybe use them in some other way. And I feel like it's something to do with something that you really, really love. And it's to do with like helping people in some way or helping emancipate people in some way. So it could be, like working with young women in other parts of the world or something, like getting, maybe as part of their education, or giving them opportunities that they wouldn't have normally in their country or something like that. Or like, say, for example, say you got really good at public speaking or presentations. It's like teaching people presentation skills, or teaching young people who wouldn't normally have access to that kind of guidance, giving them really good skills and how to present themselves in order to get a good job or something along those lines. It's like using your voice for good. I feel like, because with this, like Emma Watson, she's, she was in Harry Potter and all of that, but like, aside from her film work, and maybe some of you want to be an actor or something, but I feel like it's more to do with using your voice in some way. And that was something that once she became quite famous, when she was a bit older, she I think she started something called like the She for He campaign, and she's campaigned a lot for gender inequality and things like that. So she's sort of used her voice in that sense, and like we see her doing public speaking here. So I see you doing something where you're using your voice, or you're using the skills that you've had to do something that's more fulfilling, and something that I feel like you're quite destined to do in some way. But it's something that with this feast and like slow down and celebrate yourself, and we've got with the Kairos, this is to do with like divine timing. I feel like, and I'm intuitively taking a huge breath and like breathing out here, which I feel like you've been running maybe on adrenaline a lot. And in fact, I've been speaking quite fast since I started this video when I'm channeling your energy. It's like, you've been kind of busy, achieving, you know, working, doing that sort of linear path, or like some sort of corporate thing, or something that was like, you know, quite big and important, or, you know, required a lot of energy or commitment or whatever it might be. And now is the time to kind of like take stock. Maybe some of you, you've had this change happen for you, where maybe you've been made redundant, or the company you were in has been restructured and you're no longer in that role. Or some of you are just thinking of leaving that kind of role behind. I'm getting, actually, it's so funny. I listened to this video this other day and I had no idea why I was listening to it, because it wasn't particularly relevant to my situation. Now I know, because I listened to it for you guys. I'm going to link it below. It's by this girl called Erica Kohlberg, and she was a lawyer in like a major law firm in, I think, New York or somewhere, where she worked with like, you know, mega like Fortune 500 companies or something, doing mergers and acquisitions, and she was earning like major money and everything, but like working really hard. Like, it was a huge commitment, and they owned her time with that ring there. This is symbolic of commitment. So the company kind of owned her time and energy. It was like an exchange of, you know, her hours, her billable hours or whatever, for like a lot, you know, a big salary type thing, a lot of status and everything like that. And she, in this video that I watched of her, I can't remember what the video was titled, but I'll link it below. She talks about how she walked away from all of that when she heard her boss say something to her when she tried to get away to spend some time with her dying grandfather. He said something like, "What do you think we pay you all this money for?" or something along those lines. And she realized then that she needed to leave. She needed to make the change. So I feel like maybe you've had some kind of wake up call around your late 20s or even around your late 30s. It doesn't really matter if you're not 29, you know, it could be later in life, whenever it is. But you've suddenly woken up to like realizing that commitment that you made, like you don't want to be sort of owned by that anymore, or like that company was maybe controlling you, or that all that pursuit to kind of get to a certain level of achievement just isn't satisfying you anymore. And you've kind of got to the top maybe, or to a certain level, and looked around and been like, actually, I feel very lonely, or I feel very unfulfilled, or why don't I feel happy? I've done everything that everyone told me I should. I've done everything that like was, you know, on the kind of the like how to live a successful life bucket list, like, you know, went to school, went to university, got really good grades or whatever, got really good qualifications, went, you know, worked for an amazing firm and worked your way up that firm. And then you're like, is this it? Like, I don't feel like this is really me, or I don't feel fulfilled, or I don't feel like I love it or something. And I feel like with this free from judgment, free to love, and slow down and celebrate yourself, I feel like there's this decompress that needs to happen, where maybe you either need to walk away or take some time out, take a sabbatical, something like that. Or maybe, like I said, some of you might have been restructured out of this role. Or you've had a situation like happen with that Erica girl, where you had to look in the mirror one day because it was like you weren't allowed to go and do something, and you realized that job was like owning you. So you've chosen to walk away, and you're now in this state of like pause, where you can figure out what you truly want. You can figure out what is authentic to you. You can figure out where you do want to use your skills and your talents and your voice kind of for good in a way. This card, Free from Judgment, Free to Love, talks a lot about like both remothering yourself, but also being in a position where you can give like guidance and nurturance and support to others. So this could be, like I said, with that like Emma Watson and the using your voice, or using like doing some sort of a charity or nonprofit work, or like activism, or you know, doing something to help emancipate groups that have been suppressed in some way, or you know, creating a school somewhere, or working with you know, children or something who haven't had the sort of opportunities that perhaps other more privileged groups get, and you're helping, you know, nurture them, guide them, teach them, counsel them, whatever it might be, towards you know, being able to have more access to opportunities, or something along those lines perhaps. it'll be different for all of you. And I feel like I'm not picking up a super clear like path, because I feel like you are the path, pal, too. Like the path is you. It's like it has to be authentic to you. It has to come from you. I do feel like it is possibly using your voice in some way, or at least clearing your throat chakra and getting in touch with your true voice and your true self, your authentic self, will help you get clear on where you're meant to like work or lead, or you know, how you can best support people in whatever way. But there's something around kind of like slowing down, taking time to like get in touch with who you really are, celebrate who you really are, love who you really are, and then use your skills, use your voice in some way to help others. I feel like, yeah, I'm being guided back to this. No one wants to sit at the table alone. So I feel like maybe part of what you're doing is creating some kind of community, or looking at, or like by stepping into your truth and being true to yourself and sharing your truth and your voice, it's going to attract like your soul tribe or your soul community around you. But I do feel like with Starborn, there's something around like you're meant to be seen in some way, or you're meant to be a star, you're meant to be out there. So this could be like, you know, a social media, you know, personality or something, or it could be in some sort of, you know, in the field of like activism or something, like you'll be known in some way, or you know, it could be expressing your voice through like singing or acting or writing or doing some sort of creative expression, or just, you know, expressing like your truth in whichever way, through whichever platform, or you know, it could be writing poetry, it could be anything, it could be just like playing around with different things for a while until you it's like, and until you alight on what is most like aligned with you. I do see with the eye here, this makes me think of like the third eye. I feel like you're going through a bit of a third eye awakening, and we've got a lot of purple energy on this Starborn card. So I feel like some of you might be going through quite an intense like spiritual awakening or intuitive awakening or third eye awakening, which is making it more difficult to kind of stay committed to this old life, this sort of corporate life that doesn't feel like it fits you anymore. And I feel like you kind of want to be free to be like, you know, wear sort of ripped jeans and kind of like, you know, be, I'm just kind of seeing like, yeah, someone who maybe has a YouTube channel and they're just there kind of like talking about things that inspire them, or, you know, talking about things that they're passionate about. Yeah, it's kind of like this energy of sitting on a throne. It's like you should be like the king of your castle is what I'm getting. So maybe previously in whichever role you were in before, it's like you weren't, like maybe you had a certain level or a certain status, but like you were still kind of under someone's thumb, in that sense that like with that Erica Colbert video, it's like her energy and her time, all of her time was owned by that company. And, you know, she went off and she started her own YouTube channel, and she does all sorts of different things now. And she also started her own legal company, I believe, in the last year, to help support people who can't always access, you know, they can't always access legal help or legal support. And that's what she realized. It was all about like connecting with her why, like why was she really doing this? And actually she realized she wanted to help people, and she wanted to like, you know, be herself and have time to herself and her family. And like, I think initially she received a lot of actually judgment. So we've got free from judgment here. So there could be this fear of getting judged if you make this change and leave behind that old job or that old path or whatever. Because she got very judged by her colleagues. She was told like, you know, you'll never succeed, like you'll never be able to do this, like no one wants to listen to you don't know enough, or whatever. So there was all this judgment, and she had to be so strong with this, like, know your strength, like, you know that you are very strong, Pal, too, and you are very talented, and you can do whatever it is you set out to do and whatever you're meant to do, whatever that may be. But you are a star, I feel like. Maybe some of you as well might identify with being a star seed as well, but that might just be for a few of you. But I am getting like this sense of like you are meant to be seen in some way, or you are meant to be celebrated in some way, and you are going to be celebrated in some way because of what you do once you step into using your true voice. I don't feel like that celebration that you're kind of seeking, or that community, or true internal validation and fulfillment that you're seeking will come from this old path. I think it's only once you make the change and like you are the sort of queen of your life, like you are the king of your castle, and you get to choose what you do and where you put your energy and how long you spend on your work, and like, you know, what causes you support, or, you know, what sort of where you want to put your nurturing energy, or where you want to put your voice. Wow, really powerful energy, pile 2. Okay, I feel like I'm going to finish with the guidance straight from the guidebook for this Starborn card. Okay, so you have a strong spiritual connection with the universe. Trust your intuition and your inner feelings about things, especially when your inner feeling is at odds with the appearance of something. Sometimes it is when it seems like the least is happening that the most important thing is actually taking place. You just cannot see it yet. You have a special and deeply spiritual life purpose to fulfill. You cannot get there with logic and planning. Your spirit knows how to guide you, and the universe knows how to support you. Following your heart along your spiritual path is going to lead to your best, brightest, and most beautiful life success. Oh my gosh, I love that. And the guidance is there's stardust in your soul. The earth loves you and you are meant to be here, but you may feel in your heart that you come from some other place. Human behavior may not always make sense to you. It may sometimes seem unnecessarily cruel or selfish. Yeah, I definitely get with that free from judgment. Some of you have been judged, whether it's like people from your workplace, colleagues, family members, whatever, or you might fear judgment if you leave that path and trust your intuition and go in your own direction. So yeah, and you might really be feeling it at the moment that people are just quite cruel. As you let yourself fall deeper in love with the earth, enjoying her creativity and beauty, you'll learn to hear her in your heart. You'll understand your purpose and why you chose to bring your starry-eyed soul to her as a human being living the life you are meant to be living. You'll realize that there are certain ways that you can help others to open up to the wisdom that your heart already knows. Yeah, that's what I was saying about helping people, like with that emancipation, using your voice to help people in some way, help others open up to the wisdom that they have. We cannot always understand why things are the way that they are, but we can always make a positive contribution towards healing change. Your life mission is to be happily you in the ways that feel most true. Like I said, with the true voice, exactly, being true to yourself. To fall in love with your life here on earth just as much as you feel love in your soul for the heavenly stars. You are meant to be here, shining as a beautiful, loving star on earth. And there's a sacred ritual, which I'll hold up to the camera in case you want to do that in your own time, but it just says you can do this exercise physically or by visualizing, feeling, imagining, or pretending. You are going to gaze at the stars in the night sky, lying on your back if you can, perhaps somewhere in nature if that is possible. Feel the pleasant heaviness of your body connecting to the earth as you relax and gaze at the stars, imagining that you can open your heart and receive the starlight they generously shine. Maybe you see or feel a shooting star. That's another starborn soul, just like you, making her way to the earth to increase love and light on this planet, just like you do. Oh, that's so beautiful. I love that part too. I feel like that's all the messages I have for you today. I so hope this resonated for you. Leave me a comment below if it did. I would really, really love to hear from you. I always reply to my comments when I can. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the reading. It helps tell me what content is resonating for you at the moment. Hit the subscribe button if you'd like to be part of the Elves Temple community. I would love, love, love to have you here. Hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when I next upload a reading. Thank you so, so much for being here today and for letting me read for you. All the best with your journey towards evolving into your higher self. And I will see you in the next reading. All my love. Bye. Hi, beautiful souls. With pile number 3, if you chose this Good Witch card and the Zebra Jasper, this will be your reading. So let's get straight into the Oracle cards that I've pre-pulled for you. So first up, we've got Protest, Start a Revolution, card number 28. Then we've got Sonita Alizadeh with Dream for Today and Hope for Tomorrow. Understanding is the first step towards change. Sing the world you want to see. Okay, and then we've got the Pilgrim and the Mystic. So this is the archetype you're kind of, and the energies you're evolving out of, and this is the energy you are evolving into, this Mystic energy. Beautiful. And we've also got Laura Bates with to become a leader, first be a reader, man or woman, human is human. If in doubt, believe in yourself. And we've got wings, you never needed those to fly. Love that. Okay, and then these cards are related to supporting what you need to do to step into this evolution. And we've got intention with spinning fate. And we have got, whoops, I'm just going to cover that up because there's a strict policy on YouTube about showing certain things, so I have to be careful. So we've got in the world, not of the world, card number 34. Okay. And finally, we have nurture, giving yourself love, care, and encouragement, card number 8. Wow, amazing energy, pile number 3. I love this. So I feel like, first of all, starting over here with like protest, start a revolution, and Sunita Alizadeh, let me actually start by reading from the guidebook about Sunita, because there's something in her story I feel like that I'm being drawn to her story that may be relevant to you. So let's have a look. So we've got Sunita Alizadeh grew up in Taliban-controlled Herat, Afghanistan, but she and her family subsequently fled for Iran, where she discovered rap. Although it is illegal for women to sing in public in Iran, or at least it was at the time this book was created, which I don't know when it was, but anyway. It was there that Alizadeh began to write her own songs, and in 2014 she won an American songwriting competition. Soon afterwards, she was approached by the filmmaker Roxara Gamagami, sorry, I've probably butchered that. And the result was a music video for her song Daughters for Sale, which became an international hit. At the time, Alizadeh's own family were trying to sell her into marriage. Gamagami continued to film the young musician and eventually turned her story into the acclaimed documentary Sunita, which I've seen and it is amazing. I would highly recommend it if you can find it somewhere online. Since then, Alizadeh, who now lives in New York, has spoken at the United Nations, and she continues to use her music and influence to address the subject of forced child marriage. So I feel like with this protest card here and this kind of tower and the Sunita energy, and we've got over here with wings and this person like leaving this tower, I feel like the evolution that you are in the process of going through, some of you may have already kind of gone through it in a way, some of you might be just starting this, is leaving some sort of system or like kind of tower situation behind. And by tower, I mean like some kind of institution, something that's very formal, something that's potentially very rigid, something that may have been, like I spoke about with Sunita, something that may have been quite repressive, oppressive, like controlling. You know, you might have in fact grown up in a culture or be looking at leaving a culture at the moment that has a lot of you know, rules or something. There might be something around being forced into marriage or some other kind of cultural expectations, or if it's not cultural, then possibly religious, or possibly just something traditional, or something within your family, or something within your society. You know, it could even be, you know, you may not have grown up in any kind of, you know, directly oppressive culture from some other part of the world. You might be part of Western society that's ostensibly very modern and, you know, supposedly supporting individuals' free will and all of that, but really there's a lot of societal conditioning around, like, you know, what I'm hearing is being part of the rat race, you know, like kind of doing the 9 to 5 and like, you know, sort of, you know, working at it, you know, training, going to university, getting a good job, working your way up the corporate ladder sort of thing, you know, getting the picket fence, that, all of that sort of stuff. And I feel like maybe a lot of you have been feeling that pressure to be funneled in a certain direction. And I feel like the evolution you've been going through is to stand up and like protest against that, whatever that repression looked like for you, or whatever that oppression or that system or that tower or that institution. And you've gone on this journey, or you're in the process of going on this journey of stepping into this archetype of being the pilgrim, being the seeker, being someone who wants to like figure out their own path. I feel like you're very much going off the beaten track, or you have been for a while going off the beaten track. Maybe some of you have received quite a lot of judgment for that, or quite a lot of like negative feedback, or like people just talking negatively about you, or saying like, you shouldn't do that, like that's really bad to leave, to leave the system or leave our culture or whatever it might be, or leave the family or whatever system it is that you're leaving behind, whatever this kind of tower represents for you. But I feel like you absolutely know at the core of your heart that you need to like break free. Like I'm hearing the Queen song, like I've got to break free. And I believe at the time when he sung that song, he was singing about breaking out of like an abusive relationship. So maybe for some of you it could be that, but I'm kind of getting more of a vibe of something cultural, something possibly religious, something societal, some kind of conditioning, just general, like general social conditioning that we get to kind of go down a certain path or like make our lives look a certain way. Or even like, like maybe working for certain organizations, or like there's something around some sort of structure that feels very oppressive, or like when I'm tuning into your energy, I feel very oppressed by it. It's not necessarily objectively oppressive, though it may well be. It may well be like a type of regime that you're trying to leave that is like hands down, everyone around the world has consistently said this is a terribly oppressive regime, like what Sunita was leaving. It could be very oppressive to women or certain groups or whatever it might be, or it could just be you. Not that it's necessarily any lesser of a difficulty to get out of the rat race, but it could be you wanting to leave some sort of an institution, whether it's like something some traditional path is what I'm getting, like something maybe that you trained in, maybe you studied in something. And maybe I feel like there's some kind of, it's like you have to break free from it, because like with this protest and start a revolution, it's kind of like your soul doesn't agree with it, or it's like ethically it goes against everything you believe in, or something along those lines. And I feel like that's because you have, with this pilgrim here and in the world, not of the world, you have this very unconventional soul, where like you are not meant to be you are not meant to be like of the world. You are not meant to be funneled into a conventional direction. You are not meant to be part of this tower system or work in this, like in that type of institution, or be part of that type of institution or a regime that is very culturally oppressive or whatever it might be. You're meant to break out of that. You're meant to go your own way. You're meant to be a seeker. You're meant to go out and like learn the way you're meant to, like learn what your soul is yearning to learn. Like learn your own way, go your own way. You're not, it's like, yeah, you're this figure that's kind of like just bursting out of this stream, and it's like all these salmon are kind of, they're swimming upstream, and it's like, that they're doing that being part of that system where they're being conditioned, or they're being controlled, or they're being like funneled into something, whatever it might be. Maybe for some of you feel like people around you, whether it's in your culture or in your group or something, have been manipulated in some way. Maybe they've been manipulated by political leaders. They've been manipulated by the media or something. And you're wanting to, it's like you can see this and you're wanting to break out of the system. And I think there's a reason you're being called to break out of this. And it's because you're meant to, like, with this Sing the World You Want to See, you're not meant to be in that system. You're meant to be outside of it and recreating the new world is what I'm hearing. It's kind of like like having the bravery to kind of, and the power to create a new path, or to create your own unique path and create your own world that you do want to see. There's a lot here around like taking your power back, understanding that you have power as well, understanding that you're like, with this good witch energy, it's like you have the power to either speak things into existence, to set intentions and manifest things, to use your healing energy for good, to use your just your general energy to help guide people in some way with this mystic here. It's like I feel like you're evolving into this heightened like more like, it's like your spiritual gifts, your spiritual powers, your healing powers are heightening, and you're meant to, like, they are going to give you the freedom to kind of fly with this. Like the mystic's got this beautiful butterfly wings spread out here, and we've got wings. You never needed those wings to fly. It's like your soul was meant to be free. Like your soul needs to be free. You're not meant to be in the world. Like you kind of exist in the world in a 3D sense, in the sense that you still need to, like, obviously put food on the table and kind of, you know, do all your responsibilities, but like your soul longs to just connect with your higher self and with like the universe, and like be this mystic that can bring information down to then help heal people, or to like nurture people in some way with that nurture card. I just noticed that. And also to become a leader, first be a reader. There's something around like learning something, about like seeking out your own sources of information, about going a sort of alternative path, going an unconventional path, and then using your intention, something to do with like intention setting, to like spin the fate, or spin the path that you're meant to be creating your own way. It's like you are the one who can create your own path. You are the one who can create the evolution that you want to see. And if there is anything within society that you want to change, you can like voice that in some way, or you can sing that into existence by like using your voice for good. Once you're kind of like out of that system, I feel like if you're still in this, it's going to be more difficult for you maybe to fully embrace this like mystic archetype. I feel like maybe because of possibly like cultural or religious or societal stigma or something, it's like it's very difficult for you to like just fully open up to this role, this archetype of being the mystic and being like, you know, the witch. Like it just makes me think of, you know, the stereotypical thing of like the witch on the, you know, at the edge of the forest. And like, you know, back in the day, like witches were the medicine woman, right? The medicine people of the community, and they, you know, dispense like healing remedies, or, you know, they dispense like mystical guidance or support, or, you know, they were able to like, you know, divinate, or all of these kind of things. And because these things weren't, you know, conventional, because it was sort of outside of what was the norm, or outside of what was okay, or outside of the cultural beliefs or whatever, you know, gradually, because of the, you know, suppression of feminine power, most of the witches got burned, or they had to kind of go underground, or they got, you know, whatever it was, severely oppressed in some way, you know. And there was a lot of, it became more and more difficult to practice that kind of thing. It became more and more difficult to be that sort of person, to be sort of outside of the societal circle, and, you know, be in this energy fully of like, no, I'm a seeker, I'm going my own way, you know, I'm embracing this like witch energy, or this mystic energy. Like I am a guide, I'm in the world, but I'm not of the world. Like I'm not meant to kind of go that same path. Like I have certain like healing powers, or magical powers, or mystical powers that I'm meant to use, but for good. And so maybe some of you, you know, you might really resonate with those stories of like witches, because maybe like you had a past life as a witch, or you had a past life where you spoke up against some kind of oppression, or maybe even, you know, in this lifetime you've tried to, and it's got you, like maybe you've been outcast a little bit, or you've been, you know, scapegoated or something, or maybe you've just like gone into that pilgrim hermit kind of archetype yourself. Like you've just kind of, you know, gone off and left that sort of, you know, like it shows in this card, you've left the tower, you've left the institutions, you've left those systems, that system of control and oppression, and you've gone out to seek your own knowledge and wisdom. And I feel like, you needed to do that, because with this, to become a leader, first be a reader, it's like you needed to like read and learn and maybe study with people. Maybe some of you have gone off to study like in some sort of like shamanic tradition, or I'm seeing someone who's maybe gone to I'm kind of getting like 7 years in Tibet vibes with the mountain, or like someone's gone and like stayed on a yoga retreat but for a really long time, or in an ashram, or something like that, where or you may be being called to do that. That could be part of this evolution, that to get out of this sort of system or to get free of that, it's like, there may be a whole period of just seeking your own knowledge about, the world and the cosmos and spirituality and like your life and what is the meaning of everything and all of that. I feel like you're kind of going on this very deep, very spiritual journey, and waking up this kind of mystic energy within you. This is this sort of evolution that you're going through. It's very unique and very beautiful energy, but I feel like there's something around needing to believe in yourself more and having the confidence to trust like where your intuition is pulling you, and also knowing that like with this spinning fate, you can spin your own destiny. Like you can create what it is that you want to create in your life, and you can, whatever you set the intention for, you can like sing that new world into being in some way. Let's read the guidance. Let's finish up with reading the guidance from the Love Your Inner Goddess book. But I also wanted to say with the zebra jasper that this particular crystal helps encourage you to like have the confidence to pursue what you desire, what you most desire, no matter what others think. It's very like all about going your own way. It's that zebra energy of being unique, being a bit different, being like in the world but not of the world. Like you're meant to be a bit different. You're meant to go a more unconventional path. You're meant to go and learn your own things about the world and like awaken to this like mystic energy, or the being like the energy of like the guide. And also be free, be out of that system of control and be free, with those wings spread hair and her like flying out of the tower. It's like you're leaving that tower system behind, you're leaving that system behind, but there's just something around like maybe stepping into your self-confidence. So this zebra jasper stone, getting a hold of one of those, I would highly recommend. And also with this nurture energy, like giving yourself the love, care and encouragement. So this is very much like you may not have received any kind of encouragement from within your family or within your environment or your culture or anything to like do this or step into this work or explore this side of yourself. And so it's like it's required to give yourself a lot of nurturance as you step off that path and evolve, go through this evolution of seeking and learning and growing and becoming this mystic. Okay, let's take a look at the Good Witch to finish up. So, yes, okay, absolutely. It's time to use your words. Speak up for what you want. Yeah, this is very much like with the Sanita, she used her song. She used, singing and rapping about the system where she was to bring attention to it. And then, a documentary was made about it. So, yes, she was singing the world that she wanted to see. So there's something around like speaking up for what you want, speaking up for how you want the world to be. So if someone is saying negative things about you, or you're thinking negative thoughts about yourself or anyone else, don't believe them and don't sink to that level by lashing out. Instead, speak the goodness, the beautiful truth that you want to affirm right now. Use the positive power of your words, thoughts, and intentions to override and replace the meanness, fear, hate, or jealousy of anyone else. The goodness in you is more powerful than the badness in anyone or anything else. And the guidance is you can create your own magic. You have a special gift for weaving loving spells of healing. That's so beautiful. I just noticed with this intention card, like weaving, it's like she's got this like ball of yarn and she's like weaving this little baby. So there could be something around like healing children or giving healing to like people's inner children or something along those lines maybe. That may not be for all of you, but I just wanted to point that out. So yeah, with clear intention, channeling your emotional energy and using your words, you can create joy and happiness in your heart that touches the hearts of those around you. You are a good witch, and when you use your inner power to increase love in the world, your power will continue to increase. As we grow in power, we sometimes forget to use it wisely. We may use our power to speak ill of another, to persuade others into negative thinking through gossip, or to allow our own insecurities to make us behave disrespectfully to ourselves or someone else. I don't feel like, by the way, that you're doing any of that, like in terms of speaking ill of other people or behaving disrespectfully to others. I feel like this is more about how you're behaving towards yourself, and like that's why this self-nurturance card came out, because there's something around like giving yourself the encouragement and respect to and confidence to go after what you want. Misuse of power doesn't feel good for us or anyone else. The universe cannot uplift us into all that we dream of experiencing if we are using our power to pull ourselves down. It is better and more fun to use your power for loving and positive purpose as you honor freedom of choice for yourself and others. Yeah, freedom of choice. You're not meant to be part of that same system. You're meant to have this freedom to go in whatever direction you want to go in. The good witch is a wise witch. She creates beautiful energy which others can benefit from if they so choose. Forgive yourself if you've lost your way, if you forgot your true inner power or tried to make someone else's decisions for them. Let that go now and come back to your heart with peace and happiness. It's time to weave your loving magic in the world. And the sacred ritual is, say aloud one thing or situation that you would like to create. Place your hands on your heart as you relax and imagine, feel, pretend, or visualize that you are gently sending so much love, happiness, and peace towards your desired creation. Then relax and let go. Oh, that's so beautiful. Okay, pile number 3, that is all the messages that I have for you today. I hope this reading resonated for you. Leave me a comment below if it did. I would really love to hear from you. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this reading. It helps tell me what content is resonating for you at the moment. Hit the subscribe button if you'd like to be part of the Else Temple community. I would love to have you here. Hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when I next upload a reading. Thank you so much for letting me read for you today. All the best with your evolution, and I will see you in the next reading. Oh, my love. Bye.